Check out the links in my description for more information, for more resources. Check out the podcast. Check out the Facebook groups. Just check out the links. There's a lot of great stuff there. Comment, rate, subscribe, share, like, dislike, whatever you want to do. This is my Zamasu Time Burning the Tide deck. 1 copy of the leader. 4 Oceania Shenron, 4 Shenron Figure Majesty, 4 Android 17 Turning the Tide, 4 Goku Miraculous Transformation, 4 Vegeta Ready Rumble, 4 Gohan Baby's Mean, 4 Goku and Vegeta Saying Synergy, 4 Goku Overflowing Spirit, 4 King Vegeta the Distrustful, 4 Chill's Army Reinforcement, 4 Super Pycon, 4 Radish Giant Force, 4 Buu Unison, 4 Gotenks Absolute Unison, and 4 Goku Protector of the Earth. So the name of the deck comes from the time burning strategy of using Pycon's rejuvenate ability to have more life than your opponent, also coupled with the leader's awaken ability where you don't take damage, like you don't take life, you mill cards instead. So it's pretty much a guaranteed way of keeping your life high, and then by rejuvenate you add a life, so you'll still keep that life. So the likelihood of you still having more life than your opponent is a lot higher, especially if you're swinging at your opponent, getting your opponent's life down. So the idea is to have more life than your opponent, and when time runs out competitively, you'll win in time. Obviously, this is meant to be more for competitive play. For casual play, you're going to have to, beat your opponent by dealing them 8 damage. Or for competitive play, time burning, right? But we do have for casual play, right, or just in general, we have turning the tide, which is the tide part of burning time, the tide, time burning the tide. So burning, turning, right? So we have this. So when your opponent's at 2 life and you play this, the likelihood of you being able to swing with this, deal crit damage, and then finish your opponent off with a leader or unison swing, is likely when your opponent is at 2 or less life. You can drop them from 4 to 0 in 1 turn. Obviously, you have to play a combination of cards. But 3 to 1. I mean 3 to 0 or 2 to 0. So we still have turning tides as a win con. The deck inherently is anti-aggro because of its ability to essentially have a second health bar when you awaken by your deck becoming your life, and we have a 60 card deck, so the likelihood of you decking out sooner than later is slim, so it wouldn't be that hard to get to turn 7 or 8 unless your opponent pushes really hard and mills you right, deals you so much damage in a single turn. But we have floodgate negates to make it harder for them to do you damage. So that's where the Oceanus comes in. That's where the baby's minion comes in. Even Goku the Vegeta saying synergy. The fact that it bottom decks itself, so it adds more cards to your deck. So reducing you decking out. And then of course it can power up your leader by 5k. So on the Awaken side you'll be a 20k. So basically it has a built-in Senzu Beam. And of course, the effect does stack, so if you just so happen to use 2 of these in a single turn, you can add 10k to your leader for the duration of turn. So 25k leader is pretty nice. So it has some floodgate effect. Then we have Ready to Rumble, same thing. Floodgate ability, if your opponent attacks, they have to bottom deck one of their energy. No, actually goes to the drop area. So to drop one of their energies. And he's a blocker, so works similar to Oceanus. And then we have Goku Miraculous Transformation, negates an attack, play this in rest mode. And while in rest mode, your opponent can't attack your mono blue leader. With the battle cards. So your opponent can't attack your leader with battle cards. They can attack with leader and unisons, of course, but they have to attack this. And this has deflect, barrier, and triple strike as well, so it can be used as a finisher. Obviously, especially if you play this on your opponent's turn, then they end their turn right, then you turn in the tides on the next turn, so you can take advantage of that. 3 damage from this after you swing with this, so that's 4 potential damage just combining them two. It just depends how you play it, right? And this you could potentially play for 3 if your opponent has a lot of a lot of energy. So if they have like 3 or more energy, this will drop down to like 3 energy. Let's see what else. So those are the floodgate negates. Obviously we have like Protector of the Earth with its auto. It's a floodgate effect that applies on your opponent's turn, plus has the ability to board wipe with its -2 effect. So obviously we like to combine that and trigger that off before we turn in the tides our opponent. And then of course we have the Unison, turn in the tides, and the leader. So that's potential 3 damage right there with just that stuff alone. We have Shenron Figure Majesty, of course, to be a draw engine. On top of the fact that it untaps 2 energy, obviously when we first play it, we want to untap 2 energy so we can keep our defenses up. And then the following turns after that, then we can do a whole bunch of other shenanigans. But typically, we just use it to draw and untap 2 energies in this deck. So we can always keep our defense up, and then of course combine it with Boo, which also can untap an energy, so you can potentially untap 3 energy every turn, which will come in handy to be able to play stuff like Oceanus, but also be able to drop the Goku Vegeta in this, at the same time, or just drop a baby's minion. And of course, we got Chill's Army Reinforcement as backup defense to back up our floodgates in case our opponents, either can still bypass through our floodgates and still attack through, or they willing to risk attacking through. We can be like, all right, well, negate that attack and put up a blocker just to punish them for just trying to get through our floodgate negates. And so that explains those guys. And then of course we got Goku Overflowing Spirit and King Vegeta, this Trustful, to help us recycle our Pycons or just our Unisons in general. But definitely our Pycon, so we could just keep using it to gain life after we awaken. So that way we have the high life point thing going for us. Again, when you're playing competitively casually, rejuvenate becomes less important with this leader. Then it's more about protecting your deck from decking out, right? Because it becomes a deck out game. But competitively, yeah, this obviously has its use. And then of course these Unisons are pretty much self-explanatory of how awesome they are and what they can do. And that's the end of the video. Actually, it's not the end of the video because we have the Z deck. I really had to update my deck profiler so I can put the Z cards as part. Anyway, so we have 2 copies of Goku Stronger Together, 2 Beerus Airy Annihilator, 2 Cell Awakening of the Created, and 2 Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. 1 Vegito Godly Spirit. So obviously, we mainly trying to use them as a 30k triple strike beta because he has Deflect and Bear, which is nice, and he's 30k triple strike. So definitely a finisher. He acts like an ultimate for the deck. I'm definitely waiting for them to make more. Definitely would like a Z Battle Ultimate. That'd be nice. Z Battle Ultimate. That'd be pretty nice. Or at least just a 40k battle card. Because I would just treat it like an ultimate. It's like, ooh, 40k plus it has these cool effects and can do a lot of damage, like quadruple strike and dual attack and all that good stuff. So it could be a finisher. So that's the thing. I definitely look for battle cards that have the potential to kind of work like an ultimate. Either have it use it as an extra ultimate, like if I had Baby Hatchak in this deck, this would just be an extra ultimate, basically an extra card that I could use to spam. Right. So, but this is essentially the ultimate of the deck, technically, right? Pseudo ultimate, and then. Of course, we got 2 copies of Cell for board wiping. We got Beerus. He has Barrier. When this card attacks, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost greater than their current energy and place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. And this card gets 5k power for the turn. So the main thing is this is just a pretty cheap board card, battle card remover. has the added ability of the active main. Once per turn, pay 2 if your opponent has 3 or more energy. Switch this card to active mode. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards. Ignore and bear, which is important, right? And place it at the bottom of your opponent's deck. And this card gains dual attack for the turn. So it gains dual attack. Remember, its auto is not once per turn. So its auto would trigger every time you attack. So you attack once, bottom deck one of your opponent's battle cards, right? Then I pay 2 to restand this card. And then you get to bottom deck another of your opponent's battle card. Ignore and bear, which is an added bonus, right? So you can get rid of something that's barrier. So that's 2 battle cards you got rid of. And then you can attack twice, right? Because you got dual attack, so you attack 2 more times. And bottom deck 2 more of your opponent's battle cards. So you could potentially get rid of 4 cards off of using this card. So it acts like a pseudo board wipe. But the main thing is, we'll bring it out for cheap, right? And swing with it. Get rid of at least 1 battle card. If we have Shenron Figure Majesty, untap 2 blue energy and then tap those to restand him and swing twice again and potentially get rid of a couple more cards. So it works decent in that regards. Plus, it's just a nice, basic 10k that you could use here and there. And then we have Goku, Stronger Together. Has Deflect and Bear, which is nice. And then it's auto, which is all we're really using it for. Every layer card's mono blue. When this card is played and your opponent has 11 or more cards in their hand, they place cards from the hand to the bottom of the deck in any order until they have 10 cards in their hand. So this is useful. This is more of a tech card than anything, especially because that's 4K power, so it's not really for battle. But it's there. It's better to have and not need than to need not have, right? Because if you're ever in a situation where your opponent has 20 plus cards, this being able to reduce their hand size down to 10, which is a lot more manageable. Because especially the funny thing is, with this deck, with set to Zamasu, I've played against numerous times against Trunks Vegeta, and that deck always has like 30 cards in the hands. So this would have been really awesome to have in that situation. It would have been really nice to just play this out and just reduce my opponent's hand size down from 30 to 10 and then go play through that. So this is really nice. I wish it would have the ability to reduce the hand size even more, at least down to 6, right? But beggars can't be choosers. The fact that I can take cut my opponent's big hand size down to 10, it's decent, so that's why it's there. That's the end of the video.